Hey everybody, we're back with Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past on Super Nintendo. You know, I set the stream to be 60 FPS and it's telling me we're at 30. But then why did it say I was at 60? Oh, Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past. Legendary game, third game in the series. Take a drink. Oh my god, not liquid. Playing this on Switch. Thankfully, through the power of editing, you can't see the borders that you can't get rid of. But let me switch this up so you can see the borders. Everything's going to be small on this stream when I switch to it, isn't it? Because I've changed the aspect ratio. Go. You can't get rid of that, and it kind of bothers me. So we edit it, get rid of that, and bada bing. So much better. I mean, on the stream you've got my face and the artwork that I've set up. But hopefully it's not as awkward. Yeah, personal choice. Let me just get rid of my face. Here we go, there we go, now it's better. Yeah, it might still be a bit distracting though, there you go. Is that less distracting? I just realised I could have just switched to the other scene and it would have gotten rid of all of it a lot easier. Anyway. Land see. Do I have a save on this? I don't know when that's from. Good morning, Corona. Alright, let's rock and roll. I'm gonna get this done in one session. Yeah, I know I can get it done in one session. I'm hoping it's not going to take too long, is the real trick. Goodbye, Uncle. Alright, let's loot the place. Nice. Let's go. So this was my first Zelda game. One of my first games. I feel like it was probably the first one I ever completed. But I can't confirm that. Got a sword. Okay, so 5 rupees. We need how much? 6, 10, 7, 10. At least 710 rupees to finish the game. That's not counting optional stuff. So we're gonna go for more than that. That should be good. Get out of it. Alright. With any luck, like we'll done in about an hour. Matt? Could have done that better. Hey, Chansum. How you doing, buddy? You've not really missed much, we only just got started. Later. Mostly just showing off some of the stuff we've got with this. Because we're playing this on Switch, because it's the easiest thing I've got set up that has it on right now. Although it's worth noting that unlike the Wii U Virtual Console, you cannot remap the controls. You cannot remap the controls. Thankfully, not that much of an issue with Super Nintendo. Oh, that's fair enough. You lay down watching the stream. Like, you lay sideways watching the stream. So try and make this a relaxing stream for you. Yeah, not a big deal for Super Nintendo, thankfully. It's like I said yesterday, pretty much every system since Super Nintendo has had the diamond layout pattern for the controller. With the exception of stuff like every system Sega made before the Dreamcast, the Nintendo 64, the GameCube, the Wii. Yeah, you're on mobile. Alright, hopefully we'll make this a relaxing stream for you, Chansum. How you doing, Star? Yeah, we're just going to do all of it today. It's not going to be 100% because some of the heart pieces are chance-based. And... but we're going to do all the dungeons and enough side stuff that I am satisfied. Ah, got him. The digging game isn't actually luck-based. The digging game is a certain number of spaces. I think it always pops up after, like, that heart piece always pops up after a certain number of spaces. Yeah, they do. I mean, one thing with the Switch Pro controller is that it's at least a fairly comfortable controller. Although, honestly, my thumb's already hurting a little bit from having to use the D-pad like this. Ooh, the theme to the Dark World. 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 Dark, dark, dark. What a nasty place. Dark, dark. What a nasty place. Dark, dark. What a nasty place. Dark, dark. The theme tune to the Dark World. It's a dark place that's menacing and dark. Skull Woods is pretty good. I'm really fond of the theme that plays when you go to Dark Death Mountain for the first time. Messing around on randomizers really showcases that isn't exclusive to Death Mountain. It's a theme that plays if you go into the Dark World without the Moon Pearl. Yeah. There's an interesting thing that the randomizer has taught me as well, is the dungeon music seems to be tied to whatever item you get for completing the dungeon. It's like you got the 3 dungeons in the light world and then the 8 in the dark world that play 2 different themes. The light world theme seems to be tied to the pendants, while the dark world theme seems to be tied to the crystals. Alright, let's go. Maybe you should do that, Star. Maybe you should. Change the size of the chat. It looks kind of small. Yeah, it works. The font still seems kind of small. How is that looking on stream? Yeah, it seems fine. It's just me. Alright. Alright, let's go get the Master Sword. First appearance in the series. I debated setting up a Super Nintendo for the stream. Like I've got the Dreamcast, the Nintendo 64, the PS2, for all the systems. I debated setting up a Super Nintendo for it, but the issues to do with video quality means that I'm just better off emulating it. Slim! Limothy! Everything's small on mobile. Everybody's here for Zelda. It's going pretty good. Going pretty good. Got some stuff to do. Go down the hole first. We get some bombs there, then we go in Blind's hideout. Limit the backtracking. How you doing, Clem? Yeah. More rupees. There we go. Almost have enough for the bottle. Need another 5. Just means that we'll have to go through here before we go to the bottle. 2 bottles in Kakariko, the bug catching net, and then we head to the Eastern Palace. Okay. Bunch of rupees. Heart piece. Elder is your destiny. The way that looked, it looked as though I just pulled the bottle out of his butt. Magic Cape's great if you've got the magic to spare for it. How you doing, Teak? Don't worry, he's just sick because of the evil air coming from Death Mountain. gonna put this here. Fun fact, if you use the magic powder on this cuckoo in particular, it'll turn into a person. Evil air. You know, Hyrule doesn't really have guns in any Zelda game, but I've been doing a bunch of Hyrule Warriors lately, and Tetra has a gun in that. So who knows? Like, she has a cutlass and a flintlock. Tetra has a cutlass and a flintlock. She never has one in Wind Waker, but she also never uses a weapon in Wind Waker. Actually, one of the things that becomes really funny when you raid the Forsaken Fortress. It's like, okay, I'm gonna go and fight Ganon now with the Master Sword, and he's like, yeah, no, your Master Sword's worthless, it isn't powered up. And then Tetra pops in the window, and it's like, hey, Tetra here. And then she runs at Ganon and just gets smacked. I don't know what she expected to do without a weapon. I need to get around to, Twilight Princess. That'd be fun. Ganon meat suit. I don't think Ganon generally cares. See, Wind Waker was also one of my favourites, but going through it again for the stream, I really didn't enjoy it that much. Which was kind of disappointing. I'm looking forward to Twilight Princess, though. Like, if nothing else, Twilight Princess at least feels like a finished game. Wind Waker, the more you play it, the more obvious it becomes that there's a lot of cut content in that game. Compass. Get my bug catching net. Even the HD version has that problem. Yep, not gonna disagree with either of that. It's been a long time since I've played Twilight Princess, is a big part of the reason why I'm interested in getting to it. Like, you like what you like, honestly. Don't let anybody take that away from you. Unless what you like is children, then definitely let people take the children away from you. There's a whole thing going around about that Netflix thing. It's really weird. Yeah. I enjoyed Twilight Princess when I played it, but I've only done it the once. The big problem I've always had with going back to it is how long it takes to get started. But hey, now we can do it on Wii U. Oh yeah, no, Twilight Princess's overworld is empty. It's a problem the series has always had. Like, I'll defend Hyrule Field largely because it's empty, but it was also a technical marvel and wasn't too big. But the Great Sea and Hyrule Field in Twilight Princess are definitely empty. Majora's Mask, I think, has the benefit of probably... Zona Field is smaller than Hyrule Field, which I think really helps. Yeah, that kind of thing is exactly why Majora's Mask is my favourite. I've been debating going through Ocarina and Majora again for the stream. They are both really good. Welcome back, Clem. Which Majora's Mask are you playing, Clem? The original or 3D? Because, I'll complain about 3D. Took me a long time to finally admit to myself that I don't like Majora's Mask 3D. I love the original, I don't like Majora's Mask 3D. Yeah, that's what I've heard. And it's like... Ugh. You know what? I can understand that, Clem. There is definitely a bunch of tedium to it, especially if you're going after all the masks. Like, one thing that Majora's Mask 3D did do really well was the greater control over the fast forward. Damn it. Well, the good news with finding the witch, she's always in the same path. I have the day 1 path for the witch memorized, because the path changes between days. I have the day 1 path memorized, it's pretty easy. You go in, then you take left, right, straight, left, and then you should find her. The 3-day cycle is terrifying as an idea. Like, doing it all in one cycle, terrifying. Yeah, Majora's Mask I think does better than basically any other game with establishing effectively a living world. Because the characters are on a 3-day cycle, so they're always doing the same thing on the 3 days, which allows them to have variety while also having a reason for them to have limited variety. Yeah, this is a standard Link to the Past teak. Randomizers are all well and good, but, you know, sometimes the standard is just overlooked. I haven't done GoldenEye that far in years. I think the furthest I've done GoldenEye in years was that stream where I played to Siberia, I think it was. We were in the 7-Ire installation. I think that's the furthest I played it. Did we beat that and get to Frigate? I think that's the furthest we got. You can use dash to break certain walls. If it's a wall like that, you can use the dash to break it, but there are certain walls that do require bombs. Well, there was an interesting thing in Iwata Asks years ago about Majora's Mask, and originally it was intended to be a 7-day cycle. the development even argued that the reason why everyone's schedules are so well done and so full of individual events is because they cut down 7 days worth of events to 3 and just pushed them all together. Yeah, it probably was a good move. 7 days would be too much. See, Breath of the Wild having a system where it looks... See, like this kind of wall. Breath of the Wild has having a system where it follows a full week is interesting because I never noticed. Because there's so little going on in Breath of the Wild as it is. I like a lot what Breath of the Wild did, but I hope Breath of the Wild 2 is an actual game and not a tech demo. I've done faster than that before. The phases of the moon. It could. It's the thing, like, I feel like Breath of the Wild, as neat as a lot of it is mostly just like the skeleton of a good game. And I'm really hoping Breath of the Wild 2 really adds to it. And also, for fuck's sake, drop shrines and bring back dungeons. The shrines are so tedious and repetitive. No, I don't want to go this way yet. Yeah, it really is. It's great to play for a while. Having played through all of it and done all the shrines to get the tunic, I can waste time on it. I did all that on Wii U. On my Switch playthrough, I've done a bunch of shrines, but I'm mostly just wandering through the game. Largely because I have no interest in doing the Divine Beasts again. I think they're boring as fuck. And my hope really is that Breath of the Wild 2 takes the skeleton of Breath of the Wild and puts some good gameplay over it. You know, I can't say I've ever noticed that this game ripped off Prime 2 Star. Which is weird, because I've played both of them several times. Several times? I've played this a shitload. I've played Prime 2 several times. No. No. Like, one of my biggest problems, like this 1 star, you can't bash it down, you need a bomb. Specific ones, not all of them. Book of Medora next. Like, the shrines and the Divine Beasts were fine the first time I went through it. I've not been all the way through it a second time, but the fact that the Champion's Ballad DLC, what did it add? It added, I think, 20 new shrines. I think it's 20 new shrines, and another Divine Beast. And it's like, great, I wanted more of this bland content. Alright, let's go. I'm hopeful for Breath of the Wild 2, but the main thing I really just want from it is to be more Zelda and less Skyrim, I guess. Just have something. Like, all that weird detail in the world, but then so much of it is also really lacking. Oh, come on, the boomerang hit that. Super Game Boy was cool. I wish Nintendo would do more of that. That's right, Zeke. I would not have done all 900 Korok seeds. I didn't do Sword Trials either because, honestly, I'd get to like round 4 or 5 of them. And it's like, okay, fine. You want me to do this stuff in a specific way, cool. Don't throw me up against some of the dangerous enemies without a weapon or armor. Because, let's be fair, Breath of the Wild's damage system is kind of bullshit. I didn't get the fucking Power Glove. I knew I'd missed something. Link Between Worlds was so good. I wanna stream it, but I haven't got a way to stream 3DS. Teak, have you worked out yet? You worked out 3DS streaming yet? Yep. Yes it is, Star. Yes it is. Yeah, Link Between Worlds was great. I got my 3DS. With the last, might as well call it the last generation of handhelds. Because I went with the Vita and I got Persona 4 Golden, and it's fantastic, and the Vita is great, and I love it, and it's so much fun. I eventually went for a 3DS, and I grabbed a few games that was actually after for 3DS when I bought it. So I got my 3DS, and I got Ocarina 3D, I got A Link Between Worlds, this one, yes it is, good. I got Smash. Yeah. I really wish Nintendo would just put out something like the Game Boy player for just something. So I got A Link Between Worlds, and I started, and in fact, that was the thing, like, I got Ocarina and I got A Link Between Worlds. I did Ocarina first, and the way I was doing Ocarina 3D, was I did a dungeon per day, so I didn't overdo it. Because I was having trouble getting back into Ocarina at the time, anyway. I was having trouble getting back into Ocarina at the time anyway, which I'd been having for years. It wasn't until like last year that I finally really got back into Ocarina and really started enjoying it again. And my intention, after finishing Ocarina 3D, my intention was to really do the same with A Link Between Worlds. Do like a dungeon a day. And then I sat down with it and did the entire thing in 2 sessions. Because it was just that good. I rented everything, but I never died. So, having to lose the items was never a problem. Like, the main thing I want to be able to stream 3DS for is really A Link Between Worlds and Shin Megami Tensei 4. Possibly Fire Emblem Awakening. There, here we go. This is why we carry fairies, so that we can play as aggressively as this. Damn it, mistimed that. Oh well. And the real trick, though, is going to be, can I get Moldorm without falling down? Because I've done this game a lot over the years. One of my favourite games. I love it. I've done it so much. There are still times where I'll just keep falling down in the Moldorm fight. Sometimes it'll just fuck you. What is this? Is this even anything? Right. A little bit of extra money, it's not necessary, but yeah. Okay, we save the money, we need to flip us later to maximize efficiency and reduce backtracking. We visit Lake Hylia after we get the flute. Kakariko. Yeah, I did really enjoy Link Between Worlds. I've been meaning to go through it again for a while, and I just haven't. I was also kind of in the mood to do SMT4 again, especially since there's not really a way for me to stream it right now, but I haven't gotten around to that. SMT4 was so good. It's like, I'd argue, it used to be the case of people would say, like, you want to get into Shin Megami Tensei, play Digital Devil Saga. Like, if you want to get into the main series, play Digital Devil Saga. It's a good stepping stone. Now, it's a case of play SMT4. SMT4 is so good. I should go back and actually finish SMT4 Apocalypse, but I really don't want to. I've just not been enjoying it, and then everything else I hear about it says, no, it doesn't really get better. Alright. Come on. I'm on the road to Viridian City. I think at this point, the 3DS is the best system for SMT now. It's like you've got SMT4 for Apocalypse, regardless of what you think of it. Soul Hacker, Strange Journey, Redux, Devil Survivor, Overclocked, Devil Survivor 2, Record Breaker. I think it is actually more, it's more, I think, than any other system. I think the PS2 is the next closest. You don't even have to take into account the idea of like, SMT games being released in English. Plus, if you count Persona Q and Q2 in there. I really like this theme. And unfortunately, that's all we're going to hear of it, because the next time we go to the Dark World, we won't hear it again. Tower of Hera. Fun fact, the artwork we're displaying today is actually Link looking at the Tower of Hera. There's some good artwork for A Link to the Past. I found a place that actually, a site that had a bunch of Link to the Past artwork in pretty high quality, which is really nice, because a lot of this stuff you would have only seen printed in magazines at the time. I miss game magazines. I was in the shop. God, what would it have been like? Damn it. Yeah, I messed that up. I was in the shop last week, the supermarket, and it's like, look at all the magazines for various stuff, and it's like, but the game magazines are gone. So that's disappointing. Thankfully, my favourite magazine is a British publication called NGC. I have all the issues as PDFs, so I can go back over them, which is nice. I've been meaning to do that for a little while. See if there's anything for the GameCube that I wasn't aware of that catches my eye. That'd be neat. That would be neat. Find a place to get some PS2 magazines like that. Could possibly do the same, because the PS2 probably has a larger library of games that I'm unaware of. It's not common, but it does happen sometimes that I see a PS2 game that I didn't know existed. Because let's be fair, it does have like a several thousand game library. I need to get a fairy. And bada bing, the moon pearl. And there will be time for me to take a drink in a moment. Awesome. Nice. I don't really collect books like that. Partly because I don't have the room, and partly because I realised that I'm probably never really going to read it. Like, when they started putting the Final Fantasy Ultimanias out in English, it was like, I really want to get this. And then I ended up cancelling my pre-order for the first one, and I never got around to pre-ordering the second because I knew I'd never read it. Which is a shame, because I was more interested in the second because it has 7, 8, and 9. Whereas the first was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now if I can do this without falling off a single time, then I'll be happy. Yes! Yes! Yeah. They're cool, but it's like, are you actually gonna read them? The intention is there, but is it ever going to happen? Plus, let's be fair, if we're actually interested in the Ultimanias, considering they've been out for years in Japan, all of the actual interesting details, like how Final Fantasy VII was originally going to be set in New York, Vincent Valentine was originally going to be a detective, that kind of thing. Red 13 was going to be originally at one point a Sephiroth clone. All of that stuff, if you're actually interested, you've probably already read all those details over the years, because the Ultimanias have been out in Japan for years. Like the thing with Idea in Final Fantasy VIII, she was originally designed for Final Fantasy VII, but they didn't really have anywhere they could put her. So Nomura kept the design. And he's a heart here. And Nomura kept the design and put her in Final Fantasy VIII. I'm sorry to hear that, Clem. Okay, we're at 49 minutes. Can we get the light world done in under the hour? Possibly if I hurry. I'm not quite sure how long Hyrule Castle will take. I love that they've brought this theme back every time Link pulls the Master Sword out in the series. It's a great theme. Yeah, we'll talk about Hyrule Warriors at probably Friday actually, Chanson. You said you want to pick up the Switch version when you get a Switch. Did you know that Ravio is a playable character in that? I head south. Come out through Kakariko. Hey T, do you think you're gonna get the wanna head north then east, southeast? T, do you think you're gonna get the Iwata Asks book? Master Sword, bitches! Kill bees! Probably not, yeah. The whole thing is pretty niche. Plus, the Iwata Asks are still available, aren't they? They're still available publicly. They're probably still on Nintendo's YouTube channel. Even if they're not, if they were taken down, somebody else has probably put them up. Alright, 8 minutes. Let's go. And there's 8 floors. Well, there goes my laser beam. Nope, still got it. It didn't do enough damage. Oh. A weird little thing that not a lot of people are aware of in Zelda, the quarter heart. No, that's not right. The weird thing that people aren't aware of is the 1/8 of a heart. This game doesn't actually visibly show quarter hearts, so still counts, I guess. Six minutes. Full health. That was unusual. Usually throwing anything at somebody usually kills them. About 5 minutes. There we go. Here we go. Can I do the Aghanim fight in about 4 minutes? Yes, it'll probably take like another 30 seconds. Can I do Aghanim in about 4 minutes? It's open. I love Ganon's theme. One of my favourite little things with Ocarina of Time was when they brought it back. And you hear it as you're climbing through Ganon's tower. And it turns out when you get to the top, like, it just gets louder and louder as you're climbing Ganon's tower. And when you get to the top, it turns out Ganon's playing it on the organ. Fantastic. Love that. Or Ganondorf at that point. Yeah, that's great. I really am in the mood to redo Ocarina. It's weird that's the first time he's thrown the blue balls out. There we go. And with about 3 minutes to spare. Dark World in under an hour. Nice. Chrono. Aye. Shaska. Couple of balls. The reason I always stand to the side, rather than above or below Aghanim, is the blue ball attack shoots in 6 directions. It doesn't shoot horizontally. So you hit it, and it'll shoot in 6 directions, never horizontally. Which means standing to the side of Aghanim is always safest. Let's go. Game audio coming through for you guys? Coming through okay? Like I say, I've just done it that often. I've done this game that many times at this point. A lot of this is stuff I don't think about. Aghanim was shooting his blue balls. Is game audio coming through good enough volume for you guys? Because I do want you to be able to enjoy the soundtrack. Because this has a good soundtrack. Yeah, it sounds good. Cool. Watch out for those little trash bag things. They'll do a surprising amount of damage to you. Excellent. Thanks, guys. ₹10. And then 100. Yeah. I've not unlocked Ravio yet on Hyrule Warriors, so I can't say how he plays. A bunch of the characters are locked behind... Do I want left or right? A bunch of the characters are locked behind Adventure Mode, and Adventure Mode is pretty big. Yeah, you doing okay, Chanson? So you said you felt ill once you finished your stream earlier, and that's why you were lying down. Ooh, fairy. Ah, you shouldn't rush breakfast. Especially depending on what you have for breakfast. Like, if you decide to have, like, a full English, you shouldn't rush that. That's a lot of grease. A lot of grease to take in very quickly. I will need, I think, bombs. No, I just need the bow. Yeah. Oof, almost got it with that one. Okay, grab you. We still have 2 fairies, so I don't need the fairy fountain on the right. I will take the mirror, though. This will be quicker. Ah, that's fair enough. Need bombs again. At that point, I would have just been, like, sneakily eating during the stream. And one of the best things about not having a camera, you can eat, and you can just quietly mute the mic while you're eating, and nobody will know. That said, I mean, you could eat anyway. It just depends how far away from your mouth the mic is. That's why you'll never get a camera. Clem has secretly been eating the entire time. Yeah. I mean, it comes down to it, it's your stream, you do what you want to do. But as long as you're not chewing down the mic, nobody's really going to have cause to complain. Mr. Suave in here. Just to the right. Bad food ASMR. Giant ass mic covering half his face. Was that Teak at one point? I feel like the only person it might have been in my Discord might have been Teak. It's not Teak. Then I have no idea who it is. Ninja doesn't appear on camera. Who else is on my Discord? Magic doesn't really speak. No, you don't usually have your mic on camera. I remember there was like there was at least one point where you were moving your mic and it was on camera a bit, but like whether it was covering your face, I don't think it was. Which was why I was like, was it Teak? So I've got my mic up here. Right here. And I don't want to open that, I wasn't looking at the screen. Just off camera. Depending on how the camera ends up being set up, it might appear on camera at some point. I'll probably move it closer once the weather gets cooler and I can get rid of the fan. Right now it's moved up to be out of the way of the fan, so that I can have the fan on, but don't have to worry about the mic catching it. God, last year when it was hot, like last summer was kind of awkward because it was before I'd started using a noise gate and noise suppression on my stream. So the summer streams were just done without a fan. Which was fun. But now you can't hear any of this. Some of those arrows. There we go. Okay, and the boomerang should be fine. Boomerang isn't fine. There we go. Oh no, it found me. And now the rest of what I need is just a hammer. Oh, these are more... Oh, what's good? Like turtles with unbreakable shells. There's a grass type that's kind of like that. I think Gen 4? Gen 4 starter evolves into that. This room's gone horrible. Thing that I used the hammer on. Oh yeah, no, the hammer things. Yeah, no, I can see that. Alright, let's go take out Helmasaur King. I have one fairy. It's fine, Helmasaur shouldn't kill me. Goddamn low battery. Alright, let me get my charging cable. Star, we all need to do Chrono Trigger. If you've never done Chrono Trigger before, you need to do Chrono Trigger. If you've done Chrono Trigger before, you need to do Chrono Trigger. Well, I've said before, like, my username doesn't come from Chrono Trigger. It's just a happy coincidence that Chrono Trigger is fucking excellent. Go. Interesting, because I've always used the hammer, and the hammer specifically is why some of the later stuff in the series has been kind of obvious, like the Helmer Rock King, which is the mask specifically is a deliberate throwback to the Helmasaur King. FF5 is also really good. It's a shame there's not a good way to play FF5 right now. Like, not on a modern system. If I ever do FF5, it's going to be the GBA version. With a few ROM hacks to make it a little more presentable for a bigger screen. FF4 released as FF2. Like, bear in mind, none of these games were released in Europe. But, like, the FF4 translation as FF2 is despicable. FF6, though, as FF3 is fine. Good. If you ever get around to doing FF6, I'm probably going to do the PlayStation version, though. It really... Dude, have you read that translation? Like, FF2's translation is terrible. There's a lot wrong, plus bad dialogue. I mean, it's where the whole spoony bard thing comes from. Okay, actually, magic mirror. What's the best way to play FF4 in the US? Is probably the complete collection on PSP. It's like, there is Final Fantasy IV Advance, but the US version was loaded with bugs for some reason. Which were fixed by the time it got to Europe, which is nice. But, you know, you're gonna really just pick up the European version. Yeah, you could argue Final Fantasy IV for DS, the remake. But I think that's different enough that you probably want to consider it somewhat a separate game. Yeah, PSP is complete, but the After Years is also shit. Yeah, let me get my shovel. Yeah, the After Years is not good, honestly. This, to me, is one of the darkest moments in the series. You notice, when we came back, his legs have already started turning into a tree. And then, as his final wish before he becomes fully a tree, he asks us to play the flute for him. And then he turns into the tree fully. I was like, that's messed up. Yeah, you need to do FF1 of 5, Chanson. I would say... the best way to do FF1 is probably PSP. But if you want something a little truer to the original release, PS1 Origins is good. It's the only remake that has the original magic system. God damn it. 80 rupees wasted. No, NES FF1 is not worth bothering with. I'll take one more shot of this. You know, that's a good point, Star. Never really considered that before. Is this heart piece random? Because I really thought this was a specific number of places that you've dug out. Yeah, well. Pretty sure we made a profit there, so never mind. Continue. But yeah, FF1, I would say... because, like, any version of FF1 is fine, really, after the NES. The advantage of the PS1 version is that it's the only remake that has the original magic system. No, the chess game? Nah. Because the original magic system for FF1 was more like D&D. Limited number of casts per spell per day, and the idea is you go to an inn, rest up, and then you can cast more. Yeah. Origins, Final Fantasy Origins, the PS1 version of FF1, gives you the option of that or the MP system. Magic in FF8 can be a pain because it's directly tied to your stats. I'd say, in that regard, it's worse than FF1. Limited number of casts per day, fine. Cast magic in FF8 and you're making yourself weaker. Yeah. Yeah. But the PS1 remake of FF1 gives you the option of the original magic system or the MP system. The MP system is listed as easy mode. But to deal with the MP system not being originally intended for the game, if you go with the MP system, at least in the PS1 version, then certain enemy weaknesses to certain magics are removed. Like, Lich isn't weak to fire in that regard. But the game is also made easier. Well, it's the thing with FF8, Chansum. The magic, you would junction the magic to your stats. and it would boost your stats. The more of that magic you had, the more it would boost your stats. 100 fires junction to strength makes you stronger than 99 fires. Well, that's a lot of wasted rupees there. Thankfully, we don't need any more now, though. I should get around to FF9 for the stream. So we did 7, we did 8. But I've been thinking about making the next one I do actually 10. I do like Final Fantasy X. We'll see. I got a lot of other stuff I want to go through. 9 is good. 9 is good. And I do want to do 12, but probably... Oh shit, I haven't got any fairies. Okay, let me make a quick stop at the house. That's largely down to the linearity of 10, which is unfortunate. Like, even when you get the airship, you don't get access to a world map, you get access to a menu of the locations you've been to through the game. In essence, it is smaller because it doesn't have the world map. Yeah, at least magic powder's ready. But with FF10 largely being a straight line as well, FF10 is the reason I will... It's what I'll use to demonstrate, in comparison with 13, that linearity isn't 13's problem. Because a lot of people will be like, 13's too linear. It's just straight corridors, like, so was 10. The problem is the way 13 handles it. There we go. Well, there's a lot of problems with 13. Can't just blame it on Hope, Clem. Blame a lot on Hope, can't just blame it on Hope. Pretty much, yeah, like, 10 is fantastic. And it has a lot going for it. Its battle system is really good. The story, the characters. I want to like 13's battle system. It did really grow on me during my my playthrough of it. But you get to the end, you get to Orphan's Cradle, and the game is just throwing that out the window. The battle system doesn't work anymore because the enemies say it doesn't, which is just really irritating. Like, there's a specific enemy in Orphan's Cradle that will rush in a straight line, and anybody it hits, it'll wipe out their attack queue. Which means anything you had set up now has to be completely redone. And you know, the whole problem of Final Fantasy 13 with Positioning being a really important factor that you have no control over. Like, part of the reason I had so much trouble with Bartandalis' first fight. Because he has a giant, like, god damn it. He has a giant laser cannon he'll shoot that can hit everyone in the way. And the characters would all just cluster together. One thing, like, Sphere Grid is one thing that the international version of FF10 does really give you a good thing with. The, Expert Sphere Grid, which wasn't in the original release. It's actually one occasion where we weren't screwed over with Final Fantasy. Because we kind of were. It's an awkward thing. Final Fantasy X took so long to come out in Europe after America that when it did finally come out in Europe, they just gave us the international version because it had already come out in Japan. And so for years, we had the international version and America didn't. Well, the PS2 version, if you lived in America, if you had the American version, didn't have stuff like, it didn't have Penance, it didn't have the Dark Aeons, it didn't have the Expert Sphere Grid. Like, all of that was added in the international release. Which, again, like, we got in Europe, largely because it took so long for us to just get Final Fantasy X to begin with. But hey, at least, you know, it's not just a case of at least we got Final Fantasy X International. At least we got Final Fantasy X eventually. And it didn't take many, many years. You know, like Chrono Trigger did. No, I won't ever get over that. Why did it take 15 years for Europe to get Chrono Trigger? Right, we'll go back to bad translations though. Like, the translation of Final Fantasy IV into Final Fantasy II is pretty bad. You know what's worse? The PS1 translation for Final Fantasy V. Like, that's an interesting one. There's a car alarm that keeps going off outside and it's kind of irritating me. I don't know if you guys can hear it. Yeah, the PS1 translation of Final Fantasy V, which wonderfully translated. Like, let me write this down. It's like, okay, you've got Wyvern. Very typical fantasy monster. It's existed in a lot of stuff. They translated it in Final Fantasy V on PS1 as this. See, that's the thing, Chansum. It's not just about releasing it in the UK. It's released in Europe. And a big part of the reason why a bunch of companies have been, for years, skeptical about releasing games in Europe is because they also have to put extra translations on there. For French, German, depending on what they're aiming for. There's some weird ones with that, like, I think Lord of the Rings The Two Towers, the version I have on GameCube, has 2 language options, English and Danish. Alright, let's get some health. Nope, can't sprinkle the powder because I was partly in the door. Yeah, it's mostly a case of releasing them in various languages. Although the interesting thing with that is, as far as I remember, the Square games from that time period didn't give you language options. I think they were specifically released in countries with languages. Like, came out in England, came out in the UK with English, came out in France with French, and no option of changing them like that. Yeah, I don't remember Final Fantasy VIII having anything like that. Having a language select option. Say goodbye to the Power Glove. Alright. Good thing I got the fairies, because this boss fight can be a little tricky. The most bullet hell Zelda has ever really gotten. I do actually like this fight though. Bang. Okay. Two. One more hit. There we go. That's Blind the Thief taken care of. We're gonna go with Skull Woods next because it's right here. It's a good fight, I like it. There's not a lot of fights like it in the series. Hour and a half, we have 6 dungeons left. Skull Woods isn't that long though, so that's good. Yeah, a character with lore and backstory, which is pretty uncommon. Anything else like that? Not in this game. Ocarina. Twin Rover. Twilight Princess had a few like that, but that's because a bunch of Twilight Princess's bosses were corrupted by various artifacts of Twilight. Like, I think Blizzetta was the name, and the one you fight in the mines, Virus. That's it. Yeah, Twin Rover. Weirdly, like the most sexualized Zelda villain until Hyrule Warriors gave us Sia. Yeah. I hate fighting Gibdos in this game. Oh. No! Right. Everyone respawned. I know what the problem is. I'm expecting to take out the Wall Master in a single shot. And I'm not. Because I have the Master Sword. I usually go in here with a Tempered Sword. I completely forgot to go and actually get the Tempered Sword. God damn it. That's the entire reason why I do Thieves Town second, so I can do the rest of the dungeons with the Tempered Sword. Up until Turtle Rock. At which point we just start, at that point we get the Gold Sword. Let's just go and get it now. Yeah. I do really want to do Twilight Princess. I remember really enjoying a bunch of it. Like, the dungeon designs I remember being pretty good. The bosses were fairly unique. They weren't difficult, but they were unique. And the fact that they introduced a lot of new items. Like, it wasn't the usual thing of bow, boomerang, hookshot, shield, whatever. You had new stuff like Dominion Rod, the spinner, the ball and chain. You had some really interesting new stuff. Combining the Korok leaf and the boomerang was a good idea. Claw shots were awesome. Like, the dual claw shot idea was great. I wish you could actually ride the spinner. It was always something that I felt like you should be able to do. Just ride the spinner as a vehicle. But you really couldn't. It never really got much momentum when it was off tracks. Plus, sword fighting on horseback was great. I don't remember how well it was executed, but it was better than your only horseback combat option being the bow and arrow. Because I could never aim that in Ocarina. Took me ages to get the the biggest quiver in the Gerudo archery grounds. Alright, and the sword should be ready now, and then we can go back to Skull Woods. Let's go. Now we should be able to take out War Masters in a single shot. Sounds. Do this. Yeah. The faster you can take out War Masters, the better in anything. Because honestly, fuck War Masters. That said, like, not my least favourite version. In Ocarina of Time, I hate Floor Masters more than War Masters. And then again, in Wind Waker, Floor Masters can just fuck off. Honestly. Alright. I downloaded the Missing Link file, I haven't applied it yet. I think the worst thing about Floor Masters in Ocarina is they split into 3. Ugh. Do the normal ones grow back into the big ones though? Like, that's the main question. Because that's why I hate the little ones, because they'll split into 3. And if you don't take out the little ones fast enough, they grow back into the big ones. They do, God. I say I've got the patch, I've just not applied it to a ROM yet. I should probably see about doing that. I did get, like, there was one that came out a while ago called Zelda Dusk and Dawn that I did get. I applied the patch to, I've just not played it yet. That I could take a look at stream someday. I don't know. That'd be interesting, probably. God damn it. Fun fact. One hit. Anyway. Sure we don't use that again. Son of a bitch. Alright. This one is the trick. See, that there is exactly the problem with the sprite overlaying in this game. Because, as good as this game is, it doesn't register when something's supposed to be above or below you. Which means, if something just appears on the screen, even if it's supposed to be above you in a place you can't hit it, because of the way the sprite overlaying works, you can just hit it. It's what makes the last Armos Knight you fight is supposed to be a challenge. Because it gets faster. But because of that exact thing, it's not a problem. Just keep aiming upwards, because it's going to try and jump on you. Mothula! Play it again, Sam. Yeah, I'm not sure if the, God damn. Fucker. I'm not sure if the Tempered Sword is better for Mothula or the Fire Rod. I'm gonna have to do this without a error. Fuck off. Fuck off. No, I consider Mothula to be probably the hardest boss in the game. And it's entirely because of the moving ground and the spikes. I don't know, there's been noises going on outside for like the past 20 minutes. It's not even that sick, like, bullet hell a little bit, but blind does the bullet hell better. The problem with this is the moving floor, plus the spikes all over the place. That's interesting. Glitched Mothula? No, thank you. But yeah, I think, like, for me, Mothula's like the hardest boss in the game. Alright, let's do this with the sword. I feel like using the Fire Rod just made this all go wrong. Fun fact, once the boss dies, the arena is completely deactivated on every boss. So anything that would hurt you won't hurt you anymore. That was close. I was there thinking, like, it doesn't look like it's reacting to me hitting it from behind. So I'm there thinking, like, does hitting it from behind actually do damage? Magic, how you doing, buddy? How much time did we lose for that, like, 3 minutes? Game over really isn't ideal. I need to go and get that third bottle. And that fourth bottle. I can get all 4 bottles now. And then at that point, 4 fairies, not a problem. None of the other bosses are worrying either. So what we got? Swamp Palace, Argus. Misery Maya is Vitreous. Ice Palace is Cold Stare. None of those are a problem. Turtle Rock is Trinex. Don't have a problem with Trinex any more than Argonym. That's good. That's good, Magic. We're running through A Link to the Past. Doing it kind of quickly. It's not a speed run. If it was a speed run, we would have reset it now. Yes. See, this bottle we're gonna get now is something that I should have done when I got the tempered sword, and I didn't because I completely forgot about it because I'm an idiot. It's like it's Thieves Town, fight blind, finish it, get the Titan's mitts, get the Titan mitts, and then get the tempered sword and get the bottle. And the fact that I missed this is a pain. And you could argue it's what caused me, what lost me the fight with Mothula. That and the fact that I'd forgotten that I'd used a fairy. Good place to start with Zelda, honestly. It's like Breath of the Wild is different enough that I wouldn't really say you either like or dislike the series after having played it. A Link to the Past is a good place to start with the 2D games, Ocarina with 3D, but Wind Waker is also fine. But then Wind Waker is also kind of clearly unfinished. So probably just like go with Ocarina. There we go. And now let me go and get the other bottle. Yeah, if you've got a way to play Ocarina of Time, it's worth going for it. It is really good. It's called the best game ever for a reason. I think that... Because, like, I was... When I did the Let's Play of it, like, late last year, early this year, it was like the most fun I've had with the game for years, and like it really does. I'm usually of the opinion of like a lot of stuff like that is super overrated, and Ocarina is probably overrated at this point, but Ocarina also earned its reputation as the best game ever in 1998. Okay, and then head to Link's house. Go get some fairies. Fine, there's 4 fairies here. Yep. Let's go do the next dungeon, Swamp Palace. We need to do this one next anyway because Misery Maya, I'm pretty sure, does require the hook shot, and Ice Palace is made easier with it. This is going to reset by the time I get back here, isn't it? I've done this wrong. Fuck off! God was a dick. God damn Octoroks. Alright, let's do these. Yep, gotta do it again. This playthrough has just been going kind of wrong. Mostly, though, it's not bad luck, it's just me. Like, whether that's good or bad is entirely up to you. Hmm. Alright, Swamp Palace. Do this. Any luck, I can have this done in about 10 minutes. The issue is, though, this is where I start forgetting some of the dungeon layouts. Is this a necessary chest? It is not. The... Get the key under here. If you're interested in this game though, Magic, we're playing it on the Switch as part of the Super Nintendo collection online service bullshit they've got. Where you can't just buy a game, you have to subscribe to it. You know, because it's a great replacement for the Virtual Console. But it's on Switch. Easily accessible at this point. Circle round. This is the compass, isn't it? Yep. God damn it. Okay, so this way. That way. This way. That way. I need to check down here first. Yes, I do. Alright, good. Let's say, I never really even... I never remembered Swamp Palace entirely. Like, Thieves Town, sure. Skullwoods, sure. Ice Palace, pretty much enough as I need to remember. It's a solid game. I really enjoy it. And if you enjoy this, there's a bunch of others like this you can go for. Like the ones on Game Boy. Or the Minish Cap. Or A Link Between Worlds on 3DS. Which is fantastic. If you have a 3DS. If you don't, then you are screwed. But if you do, then fantastic. I want to go left or right with this? Left. Alright. God fucking damn it. I always forget that that's not necessary. Nice. Bomb? No. Got the big key. Now we can go and get the hook shot. Then get out of here. I think the rest of the dungeon is pretty straightforward. There's one bit that can kind of trick you, but I'm pretty sure the rest of the dungeon is pretty straightforward. Really straightforward. Turtle Rock I also remember pretty well as well, because it has that one bullshit room that you have to do in the dark and the timed. And so I remember that specifically because of that shit. Wait a minute, isn't one of these a chest or a key? There we go. That wouldn't have been fun. Yeah, the dual claw shot idea in Twilight Princess was great. But you get the claw shot, it's like, how is it different from the hook shot? You can actually remain grabbed, like, attached to things. Okay, I feel like that would have worked with the hook shot, but okay. I need to get to the city in the sky. It's like, what's the item for this dungeon? It's another claw shot. But I already have a claw shot. Dual claw shot. Spider-Man all over the place. Great. I always forget this one. I need to go right instead of left. I knew it was a trick and I second guessed myself. I need to stop doing that. Meow. Out of the way. Are we gonna do this? We're gonna do this? What time are we on? Ideally, I want to have the rest of the game done in under an hour. Can I actually pull that off, though? I'm gonna say yes. After this, we've not got a huge amount left, actually. We are past the halfway point. Argus. This boss idea was taken in Majora's Mask, and it's basically the same idea. They renamed it War. Basically the same boss. It's called Argus here, it's called War in Majora's Mask. It's less irritating to fight here. Probably because the game's 2D. What was the Metropolis Zone boss? What was the Metropolis Zone boss? Oh, yeah, no, that one. Fuck that. Yeah, that seems reasonable. Back into the work. This game is the first for a lot of things in Zelda. It's also where the name Ganondorf came from. Which is particularly weird because it's where the name came from, but Ganondorf doesn't appear in this. Alright, Misery Maya. Can't go to Misery Maya yet. I am missing 2 of the medallions. I'm missing all 3, but 2 of them are required for the game. Quake and Ether. Bombos isn't required. Bombos is just for fun. The problem with all the medallions is they're kind of all out of the way. Alright, get the Book of Medora ready. I think the best way to Quake is going to be through Hyrule Castle. That's Ether. Because for this, we need to be in the dark world. Quake is found in the dark world. Fuck off. Once you defeat Arganim, the gate to Hyrule Castle becomes a gate to the dark world. Yeah, there's never really a convenient time to get the medallions. The most convenient time possible to get Ether would be when you're heading up to Turtle Rock. But there's no point to head into Turtle Rock before you have the Cane of Samaria because you can't get anywhere in there. And to get the Cane of Samaria in Misery Maya, you need Ether. So there's never really a convenient time for it. In case you're wondering, like, because what we did to get Ether was use the Book of Medora. The specific line is that you use the Book of Medora to read it. And it's like, you got the Master Sword? Cool, hold it up. Do I want to go for Bombos? No. Wait. No, actually, let me rethink that. I'm thinking, like, what's the fastest way? It'd be through Hyrule Castle. It's really not. It's just, it's right here. Bombos is the screen nuke, which we can get some good use out of in Ice Palace. Uh, 4. Misery Mire, Ice Palace, Turtle Rock, Ganon's Tower. Ganon's Tower is a contender for my favourite dungeon in the series. Umbos. Turtle Rock is a pain if you don't remember exactly how to deal with the Dark Room. Thankfully, I do. I remember exactly how to deal with the Dark Room because it's such a pain. Okay, no heart pieces, which means there's no point in going for that other heart piece. 3 more heart pieces. 3 more heart containers will be fine. Tunic upgrade happens. Blue mail is in Ice Palace. Red mail is in Ganon's Tower. You're expected to have the blue mail when you go into Misery Mire, and as a result, Wiz Robes, if you don't have the blue mail, will do 3 hearts of damage. To get the super bomb that allows us to get the gold sword, we need to beat. That's how you get in here without the hook shot. But to get the super bomb to become available, that we need to get the gold sword, requires us to beat both Misery Mire and Ice Palace. Demos. Yeah, you can argue that it's a black mage. Yeah, the trick with this is just finding the big key. I'm gonna take some of this. Oh, god damn it. This room's useless to me right now. Once the south is locked, yes it is. Which means this was pointless right now. The trick with Misery Mire is just getting started. Once we get started, it's not a problem. Get back here. Doesn't help me. This gets us a key. And now the question is, where do I need to use this key? Because I have several options. And I am completely blanking on this right now. God damn. Oh yeah, there are 2 keys in this room. There we go. It ain't a problem. Yeah, the magic cape. It doesn't have enough utility to really justify going out of the way to pick up, though. And it's such a negligible amount of damage that it doesn't really matter. Okay, we circled round, we've knocked the blue stumps out. Not there. Yeah, we're not going for all the heart pieces though. That heart piece is on Death Mountain. Behind a huge amount of spikes. The Staff of Burner will also make you invincible. Yeah, the Staff of Brine. The Staff of Brine is also optional. I know this wasn't necessary. It becomes a case of like, is this room necessary? How well do I remember this room? Do I remember this room really well? Then it's necessary. Do I not? Then it's not necessary. Because if I don't remember it really well, that means I've not been here properly in years. It's just I'm completely blanking right now. But now we've gotten started, we're on the right path. Misery Maya is mostly just confusion until you get the big key. There we go. Alright. And we get the big key right now. Now the way forward is pretty simple, and we can also grab the Cane of Samaria. Don't want to go that way. Awkward Zombie had a fun comic about the various canes in the series. It's really just 3 canes. The Cane of Samaria for this game, the Cane of Burner from this game, and then there's a cane in the Minish Cap, which all it does is flips things. And Awkward Zombie had a fun comic on that. Just did stuff. There's one thing that the series kind of dropped later on. They kept the idea of boss keys, but the boss keys. Get the cane yet? I've not murdered my brother yet. Like the later games in the series have the boss keys. Which only open the boss doors. This game has the big key, which opens the chest the treasure is in, and also several of the opens any big key doors. It's the key that doesn't break when Link uses it. God damn it. That was weirdly awkward. Bunch of money there, we don't need it. There's nothing for us to spend money on now in the rest of the game. Weird quid. I'm pretty sure I need to do this. Yes. And we're at Vitreous. Do this. You can never predict exactly how the lightning is going to arc, and it makes this fight a little awkward, honestly. And you probably are better off just tanking it as a result. Again, same thing with the way the Armos Knights worked. A giant eyeball is gonna start jumping at me. I don't know how it didn't see that coming. It's a fine fight. There's not really anything wrong with it. Ideally... No, that's not bad. Ideally, you probably want to... ideally, you kind of just want to... Oh, back in the right position. Move to the side when the eyeball comes out. I didn't want to. There isn't outer limits how far the lightning can be spread out, so it'll never get you right at the side. In the way of the hero leads to the Triforce. Ice Palace. I hope this is in a good position. It is. Awesome. But yeah, there are 2 crystals specifically required for the Super Bomb to become available, and we need the Super Bomb for the Gold Sword, which is the strongest sword. You have to do Dungeons 5 and 6. If you play a randomizer of this game, those 2 crystals are more clearly marked as being red, as opposed to the blue of the rest of the crystals. So it lets you know which 2 crystals you need to get before you can do the pyramid check. Yeah. Yeah. Ice Palace, which is often regarded as the worst dungeon in the game because one puzzle revolves around you basically going around the entire thing. Like, you end up going to the bottom, you have to go back up to the top to set a switch to go back down to the bottom to be able to do it right. This puzzle is bad enough that in the GBA version, they completely changed it. It's the reason why I go for the Cane of Samaria, it allows us to completely skip the puzzle. In the GBA version, the puzzle doesn't exist, it's a completely different puzzle. These penguins take a while to kill if you hit them with the sword. If you hit them with a hook shot, it's an instant kill. You know, it's why my entire game plan for Ocarina... God damn, I didn't even want to go that way. It's why my entire game plan for Ocarina involves me going to Misery Mire before Ice Palace. Okay, this should work. There we go. You may recognize that as a Stalfos. In this game, it is referred to as a Skeleton Knight. I think it is possible to kill it without bombs, but I think it requires a ridiculous number of hits. I need to change that vote. I want to set the vote up for like what Tails game we'll do. What Tails game are we going to do blind? Tales from the Crypt sounds good. Won't even have to do anything for it, we'll just sit here and watch it. Ghost of an old man. Yeah, like, do I do Tails Sky Patrol or do I do Tails Adventure? We can only do one of them. Alright, here we go. Circle around, I'm pretty sure. I'd have to see it again to get an idea of what you're talking about, Clem. Because I don't want to do both, Teague. Yeah, no, I'm not doing either. But we're not doing the Tails games. Come on, we're not doing either of the games that Tails was the main character of. Yeah, I've never actually seen Tales from the Crypt. It was more of an American thing than it was something that was available over here. Yeah, no, I'm thinking like a vote between 4 Tales games that I've not played, which would be Symphonia, Abyss, Vesperia, or Zestiria. I didn't. Monsoon was my least favourite of the Winds of Destruction. Okay, get the fire rod. Yeah, you know, I can kind of see what you're talking about, Clem. Blue mail. Yeah, I've never felt like my attacks with Monsoon are particularly effective. It always felt like the game was going to decide when I could attack him and when I couldn't. And I was never fond of that. Yeah, Sundown is great. Like, of all the Winds of Destruction, Red Sun's probably my favourite theme. I never used the Sai, but the only weapon I ever really used in Rising was Mistral's staff. Like, that was it. Cold Stare, fun fact, if you do bombos, it immediately destroys the ice shell. I get visual glitches. Power of the Super Nintendo isn't enough. Hey Craig, how you doing? I'm sorry, I was busy when you came in. Yeah, this is Cold Stare with a K. Probably the car alarm. You go into Zelda, you expect the heart alarm at some point. Yeah, the boss theme is pretty decent, despite being like 3 seconds long. Yeah, it's a Cold Stare. I feel like if an emulator that you've just gotten off the internet, like say you get SNES 9X or ZSNES or whatever, and it's got slowdown, it's like, it's unfortunate, but sure. If it's something like this where you've paid for the emulator, why the fuck is it not perfect? That doesn't sound fun. But wouldn't it be... Wouldn't it be Mecha Chrono like that? Alright, let's go get the gold sword. You guess. The question now becomes, can I do the rest of this game in 25 minutes? Then go get some tweeting and start getting ready for bed. I am fucking tired today. You know what? I should do a stream of a Mortal Kombat game, and you have to use K's in the chat. I should make that. I should do a stream of Mortal Kombat and like make that the rule, and if you don't, you get timed out. The question with that though becomes like which Mortal Kombat. Because I'm not thinking MK9 or X. Or 11, I don't have 11. I feel like the problem with that idea, Craig, is... because it has to be what starts with a C. Because that's Mortal Kombat. If it starts with a C, it has to be a K. Or if it's a soft C. Is there an example of that in the series? Combat... combo... I don't know. I don't know, Star. Yeah, like, if you said chat, would it have to be C, would it have to be KH? Replace soft C's with S. That doesn't sound right. Cyrax. Soft C, yeah. Yeah, I think Teek's right. If it's a soft C, no. If it's a hard C, then it's gotta be a K. It's like, what? Because I don't want to do MK9 or MKX that are just story modes with some fighting in them. We could do Mortal Kombat Armageddon. Or we could do... Yeah, Klim, you gotta start spelling your name with a K. Or you could do... Mortal Kombat Shaolin Monks. Shaolin Monks was pretty good. Cyrax sounds good. Like, especially compared to the other cyborg ninjas, is like Sector, Smoke, and Cyrax. Cyrax. I played it as Sub-Zero. I did a playthrough as Liu Kang. I did a co-op playthrough as Kung Lao, and I did a playthrough as Sub-Zero. What would be cool, Clem? Yeah, that would be nice. I would also like it, you know, if they kept Injustice to DC characters. Like, here's a thought, NetherRealm. Maybe I don't want to play as Sub-Zero and Raiden in a DC fighting game. Maybe I bought a DC fighting game to fight as DC characters. Which is exactly the reason why I always have Raiden replaced with Black Lightning. But Black Lightning should have been his own character. I don't think it is, Crag. But there's the question, like, has Mortal Kombat ever said, like, select your character? Have they ever written that out? That's the question. I don't think they do. I think they specifically say combatant. And combatant has a K. You've pushed Star too far. No, I think it is combatant. Or at least past a certain point. Like, fighter for the earlier ones, with the more recent ones, combatant. How the fuck do I get up to the top of Death Mountain? I always forget which cave it is. One at the bottom, isn't it? Yeah, combatant. Here we go, this should be it. Yeah, combos with a K. You know, Shaolin Monks would probably be pretty fun. Until, like, I get to Reptile and the game stops being fun. I feel like there was. I'm sure I saw an interview once with Ed Boon where he did explain it. And it was a really stupid explanation. Like it just happened. No, you're thinking of Killer Instinct there, Clem. Combo breaker! Okay, that's definitely wrong. No, I don't think it's specifically about killing. But I feel like, because there was an interview that Ed Boon did with somebody. Leading up to the release of MK11. MK1 uses fighter, yeah, it makes sense. I feel like MK1 hadn't leaned as hard into it yet. But yeah, like there was an interview Ed Boon did in the lead up to MK11 that was less an interview and more a case of asking questions quickly, and Ed Boon gives the first answer that he has. Which led to the wonderful gem of, will Mortal Kombat 11 run at 60 frames a second on Switch? Which, from everything I've heard, it doesn't. I've heard MK11 on Switch has problems. Yeah, it's possible MK3 might have been where it started, but then like a lot of bad things have to happen with MK3. MK3 still used fire, fair enough. It's crazy when you remember just how much was going on with Mortal Kombat back at that point. Like, by the time of, I think, Ultimate MK3, they had so much going on that was just completely unnecessary. MK2 on SNES is pretty good. Like, if you're going to play the original 2D ones, I feel like MK2 is the one to play. MK1 is pretty bare bones. MK3 is bullshit. And MK4, fucking hell. Did they start with Deadly Alliance? Yeah, that does sound like a really weird and pointless answer, Clem. My MK history is really weird, like... Get this. I had Mortal Kombat 1 on Super Nintendo. And then the next Mortal Kombat game I had was Mortal Kombat Special Forces on PlayStation. And then after that, I didn't play another one until Deception on Xbox. Jane Chomps. Oh, that worked against me. Deadly Alliance doesn't say anything. In that case... Because MK... I think Deception kind of went with it. MK Armageddon went hard into it. With stuff like Create a Fighter. Create a Fatality. Done with Ks. Yeah, by the time we got a by the time I got a Mortal Kombat game that actually had the violence, because I had the Super Nintendo version of MK1. By the time I got one that had the violence, it's my parents didn't really care anymore. Assemble a crew. So a Fast and the Furious game came out like this week, last week. Is anybody aware a new Fast and the Furious game was being made? I thought after the first one they'd have left it because the first one was terrible. Deception doesn't say anything. I can imagine Armageddon probably lent into it pretty hard. Yeah, this is like the second Fast and the Furious game. I think the best thing for me that's come out of this Fast and Furious game is reading the comments on one of the reviews talking about how Wheelman was underrated. And I'm like, you know, I kind of want to check that out now. Because that's a game I've seen go for basically nothing. And I've paid more for worse. You guys would probably be into that, wouldn't you? You want to see a stream of the Vin Diesel game? Yeah, Fast and Furious movies are still being made, Star. And the weird thing is, they're actually pretty good. Like, Fast 5 I quite enjoyed. Fast and Furious 6 was good. 7 was really good. I wasn't as fond of 8. But 8 was still a solid movie. You'd rather see Mary Kate. Yeah, of course you would, Clem. It's a good thing Bane isn't here to agree with you. Let me see this. Throw you there. And there. No, this isn't necessary. That's a fairy fountain. I do have Armageddon, but I have it on PS2 and the PS2 isn't plugged in. Okay, and then take the left. Yeah, I want to see Hobbs and Shaw. It looks like a crazy action movie, and honestly, I can put up with a lot in a stupid action movie. Let's see this. Okay. Go. Because we're timed with this. Okay, and then head down. There we go. Made it. You gotta love how the mirror shield is like this huge tower shield in this game. Yeah, it's huge. It's basically a tower shield. Don't worry, Star. We're not doing the Mortal Kombat stream just yet. It's big and gold and it appeals to my pride. Alright, Trinex. The mirror shield in Majora's Mask is interesting. It fits the theme. I gotta give it that. Because it looks like some sort of spirit trapped in the shield. And it's interesting, it fits the theme. Okay, can't pause the game to switch my item yet. There we go. There we go. And now the good part. Next dungeon we're going to get the red tunic, which gives us a purple hat as well. So, see how you feel about that. Honestly, I do quite like the red tunic. I was wondering where the heart container was going to spawn there, because it usually spawns on the head, but the head was outside the wall. Well, we're not going to do that, Clem. Not going to do that. I don't need Ganon doing more damage than he normally does. Yeah, when it comes down to it, I mean, I prefer the Kokiri tunic anyway. I only wear the Goron or Zora tunics when they're necessary. Ganon's castle. I'm not sure which design of the Ocarina Mirror Shield I prefer, because it's the Gerudo symbol they have on it. But after the N64 version, the Gerudo symbol in all the later versions of Ocarina of Time were different. That's fair enough, Clem. Like, you do you. We're not beating this in the next 8 minutes. 7.5 minutes. So this is going to go a little over 3 hours. Crescent Moon and Star is a nice symbol. Alright, here we go. Ganon's Tower, one of my favourite dungeons. This. Oh, that worked out. With any luck, I'm not going to have to go and stock up on fairies. Yeah, I don't really have a problem. In fact, you know what? There's a fairy fountain to the north. I don't really have a problem with the new Gerudo symbol. I'm just not sure which I prefer for the mirror shield. This isn't the fairy fountain. God damn it. Well, the interesting thing with a bunch of that star is nobody complained. Nintendo changed that of their own accord. Because, like, they wanted to get out ahead of any possible controversy. Moonlight's Reflect, that does work. It's a good justification there, Teak. Didn't put it far enough. Yeah, like, the Fire Temple theme was changed early on. You had to have one of the earlier versions of the cartridge for Nintendo 64 to get the original Fire Temple theme. The Gerudo symbol changing from a moon and star, I don't think was changed until the GameCube re-release. And so, like, you get any of the later versions. Even the version that was on Virtual Console for the Nintendo 64, I think they backported the GameCube version for that in at least some way. It's like how, what am I thinking? Master Quest. Master Quest came out on GameCube. but somebody put it together and created a ROM of it that runs on Nintendo 64. Right. Oh, that's a shame. The playthrough I did on my channel, on the Let's Play I did, is the 1.0 cartridge with the original Fire Temple theme. It was interesting, I'd never done that version before. In the end, not really much... It's not worth going out of your way for. Collectors-wise, cool. Anything else, it's not really much point. Especially, like, if you just want to play the game, it has a bunch of glitches that were fixed in later releases. It does sound generic, but I don't think that's really a big enough issue to really be hugely against it. It might be. Alright, silver arrows. I've never really looked into whether on, like, the Shadow Temple thing. I don't think I've ever heard that idea before. An interesting thought. Like, there's various bugs in the original release that were fixed with later versions. Like, the battle music has some problems in the original release. Like, you go into Ganon's tower, and during the escape from Ganon's tower, it's supposed to be playing a specific theme for escape. When the Stalfos turn up after Zelda gets trapped, if you move too far away from the Stalfos and then go close to them again, it's trying to play the battle music over the escape theme, and it can't figure out which one it needs to play. Yeah, the 3DS version's fantastic. Not going to argue that. It plays really well, it looks great. It did tone down on the atmosphere in a lot of ways. Which is a shame, because Ocarina of Time's atmosphere is fantastic. Especially for a Nintendo 64 game. My biggest criticism with the the 3DS version, is that the fight with Ganon. In the original 64 version, Ganon is almost completely in shadow until the lightning strike. You only actually get to see Ganon completely whenever lightning strikes. And atmosphere-wise, that is fantastic. Like, that is such a cool idea. They increased the lighting a lot in the 3DS version. It completely kills that. It's not a deal breaker, it's just kind of disappointing. There we go. We should be coming up on land molars soon. We'll see how that goes. God damn it. I hate ice physics. Here we go. I do really like how this works out, especially if you go in here with the gold sword. Because, like, suddenly you've gone from the level 1 sword to the level 4 sword. And you're fighting the bosses that you fought with the level 1 sword previously. And it's great to show off just how much stronger the gold sword is than the level 1 sword. They call it the fire sword. And if you've got the silver arrows, the same is true with the armor knights. But again, you can just use the gold sword on them. Ah, boy, everybody's least favourite room in Ganon's tower. Thanks. Sadist. Nice. I'm pretty happy with that. And now the real test. And then you do the fire rod. Bada bing. Grab that. More bombs that I don't need. Oh, it's because of this, alright. Here? Yeah, that was the right location. There we go. And coming up to the last of them. Hold on in a minute. Take care of that. And from there it's a straight shot to Ganon. Or rather, to Argadim. There we go. Does this work in the Western version? Yes, it does. Nice. A bunch of the glitches and stuff that I'm aware of specifically only work in the Japanese versions. But it's good to know that works in the Western version, even if that's like the only place it's actually viable. Here we go. Argonym. Do this. Having 2 shadows plus the real Argonym actually makes this fight kind of easier. I'm making it a little harder for myself by using the butterfly net, mostly just to show the butterfly net off. But you end up in a position where it's not that difficult to knock all 3 projectiles back at Argonym. Like, each one of them will shoot one, and you can knock all 3 back. Plus, the shadows never shoot the blue balls. This is a fun little idea that has returned throughout the series. For example, in Ocarina of Time, when you had to do the tennis match with Phantom Ganon and Ganon, you can use the bottle to reflect the magic back. Yeah, you can use the bottle. If anything, it might be a little easier to use the bottle in Ocarina of Time because it has a wider swing arc than the sword does. Do this. Move quick enough, you can get a free hit on him before the fight starts, or before he starts talking to you. Have it, you pig man. Unfortunately, you can only do so much damage, because Ganon's fight is the only fight in the game that is mechanical. There are specific mechanics that you have to deal with. We dealt with the first phase. Any extra damage we dealt in the first phase doesn't matter. Now we have to deal with this phase. If we beat this phase and move on to the next phase, before the next phase starts, any extra damage we do is not counted. This damage doesn't really matter. We only really hit him to make him jump, so he'll knock more of the floor down, because he won't move to his next phase until all 4 sides are gone. Okay. On. Okay, he's going to appear over here. Get lucky, I can get him again. Nice. You gotta be careful, because you fall down, it's the same as the Moldorm fight. The entire thing restarts. If we can jump down the hole now, and the entire thing will restart. You can claim you could have eaten your calzone anyway. Thank you, everybody. Thank you. Oh, you're gonna miss the credits theme, Clem. Actually, my favorite credits theme in the series. One of my favorite credits themes in gaming. Like, the only thing that really might compete. Ocarina has a really good credits theme, and I love the credits theme for Super Mario World. Yeah, thanks everybody. That Ganon fight actually went really well. I'm kind of surprised about that. I had way less trouble with the power, the technique of darkness than I usually do. It is actually possible. The game tells you need the silver arrows to kill Ganon. It's entirely possible to kill him without the silver arrows. Technically, you need something more than the Master Sword. The idea is the Master Sword can't actually damage Ganon. But if you do a full charge spin with the Master Sword, it will actually do damage to Ganon. You can see speedrunners do it. It pops up every now and then in randomizer races if the racers get to the end, get to the Ganon fight without having found any sword past the Master Sword. Here we go. Explicitly bringing back people who died. What is this? Good. There's the interesting thing as well that, like, this game calls Kakariko Kakariko Town, and it's the only time that ever happens. This is the first game Kakariko appears in. Every game after this is Kakariko Village. And my uncle made a miraculous recovery, and now has to live with the fact that I have surpassed him in every way as a swordsman at the age of like 12. You could have done that when we actually see Uncle at the start of the game, because he's in basically the same position as Enrico is. I'm coming in closer, Link, as a traitor in the Knights of Hyrule. Link to the Past is a good game. It is indeed a good game. There you go, Kakariko Town. And the kid recovered from his ailment caused by the evil air flowing from Death Mountain. Fun fact, until Link Between Worlds happened, according to Hyrule Historia, this was true. In this timeline, the Master Sword did sleep forever. Because according to Hyrule Historia, before Link Between Worlds came out, because Hyrule Historia was done before A Link Between Worlds came out, this is followed by the Oracle games and Link's Awakening, none of which take place in Hyrule. And is eventually followed by Zelda 1 and Zelda 2, which predate the Master Sword's creation in the series. Oh, I hold no real stock with the timeline in a lot of ways. I just think it's a fun thing that that statement was true for like 20 years. This in the Past is a good game. It's been an enjoyable playthrough. God damn it, Teak. I think that's most explicit with Breath of the Wild. Because like, I don't really care about the timeline, but Breath of the Wild was fascinating in the way that it basically said fuck off to the timeline. It's like the Rito exist, and so do the Zora. Okay, but the Rito was supposed to be an evolution of the Zora. The Koroks exist, but the game openly references Twilight Princesses having happened. They're on two separate timelines. Eventually, like, I think Aonuma came out and said that Breath of the Wild takes place at the, like, furthest point, as all of the timelines have merged. It's like, how does that make sense? I feel like publishing an official timeline was a mistake. This was a good game. I thought he said it like it's the convergence of the timelines. Convergence. Which doesn't make sense. But again, like the Zora evolving to the Rito in child timeline. Not in the adult timeline, in the child timeline, the Zora still exist. Convergence. Yeah, it's like I say, it really does feel like the biggest mistake they did. Of just having an official timeline. Like, just ignore it. Breath of the Wild is that far after that it doesn't matter. Like, the whole thing with Calamity Ganon is supposedly Ganon has finally gone insane with rage. Which is another thing that I was kind of disappointed with Breath of the Wild for, because I like Ganondorf as a villain. But removing all personality and just making him a mad beast wasn't interesting to me. Well, there's nothing else we can do now. This is a Super Nintendo game that demands you reset or turn the system off. What else do we got on here? Ganons. Yeah, that was a weird thing. A little over 3 hours, Chansom. Panel upon. It's like, Zelda doesn't give you a time afterwards, but, like, taking into account the pauses I made, probably just a little over 3 hours. The first Puzzle League game, released in the West as Tetris Attack. GBA tells you time. GBA would probably trip me up a little bit with the Ice Palace. Yeah, this game was released in the West as Tetris Attack with Mario characters, specifically with Yoshi. Because it has the Tetris name and Tetris writing all over it, when they released it for the Switch Online, they just gave us the original Japanese version that doesn't have any licensing. Yeah, so Breath of the Wild is basically weirdly far in the timeline, which is weird. One of the ideas they had for Breath of the Wild, like, I think it was in, I think there was an art book for Breath of the Wild, and some of the ideas that were in there of what they had thought out that they never ended up using are crazy. Like, at one point they were going to have actual aliens. What's on the NES stuff? Alright, thanks for joining us, Star. You take care, buddy. What? Shadow of the Ninja. Rygar. Immortal. Some of the shit they've put on this. Yeah, a bunch of the concept stuff Breath of the Wild was crazy. Anything interesting to go out on? It's the problem with a lot of these games. They were designed for you to use the manual and probably also a guide. There you go, we'll scroll on this for a little bit. I do actually really like this version of the original Zelda theme. They changed it. They changed it. In the original NES version, Ganon was spelled with 2 N's. Yeah, Rygar has a similar problem to this. Like, people forget the original Zelda game came out with a full-colour manual that had a map and shit. Playing it without that stuff, like, is any of that on this? No. So it's like, here's this official way to play the original Zelda without the main thing that came with the game to make it playable. I'd love to. Nintendo hasn't given me the manual. Have they? Can you get the manual through here? No. There were two ends in all the versions I saw up until the Game Boy Advance version. Do you remember the NES Classics line that they did? It's specifically where the idea of Ganon Band comes from. Yeah, it's cool. But, like, this... It's kind of really disappointing that Nintendo doesn't give you any kind of way of dealing with this. Because the original Zelda was meant to be played with the manual. Without the manual, you're banging your head against a rock. I feel like it's the thing you've got to be ready to, like, willing to do with a lot of these old NES games. Play with a guide. A lot of them are bullshit. That's enough of that. For a long time, to me, Zelda 2 was the weird one of the series, specifically soundtrack-wise. In every other way, it is the weird one of the series, but the soundtrack, I felt, reflected that. But the soundtrack has grown on me in recent years. I think it's really helped by Smash. Smash does great things for music. But I think that's it. I think it's time for us to call it. Adventuresome, I don't think is a real word. Not true. Ocarina of Time also doesn't use the original theme. Adventuresome. Today's word of the day. Adventuresome. What does it mean? Who knows? Not a real word. In that case, like, if you consider every Zelda game that uses the original theme to be using it as a crutch take, then does that make Ocarina of Time even more deserving of its accolades, that it doesn't use the original theme as a crutch? And that's a good point, Jansen. But Wind Waker does actually have a rendition of the opening theme in the the opening. It has this really good violin version of the opening theme in the prologue. After having gone through Wind Waker again for the stream for the first time in years, I came out of it a lot less fond of the game, but my love of the soundtrack still remains. It has a fantastic soundtrack. First appearance of Impa. Is it? No, Impa appeared in the manual of the original game, didn't she? Yeah, no, the original theme does appear in the opening of Wind Waker. Yeah, it's kind of disappointing with Breath of the Wild. It uses what little sound cues it has really well, but you're right, it doesn't really have much of a soundtrack. That seems to be kind of a recurring thing for a lot of more modern games. A lack of a soundtrack, whether for immersion, or just because game development costs so much these days, paying for a soundtrack is just more cost, and they don't really want to do it. Yeah, it's mostly atmospheric and environmental pieces that just don't really stick out in your mind. They're meant to build atmosphere and not really do anything else, which is a shame because you can have melodies that build atmosphere. Look at stuff like Metro Prime does that fantastically. Resident Evil 2 does it well. Resident Evil 1 does that well. RE3 does that well. Like the original Resident Evil trilogy does atmospheric sound design really well, while still having memorable pieces. And like with examples like that, it's why I never accept the argument that the soundtrack is atmospheric as a reason for it to not be memorable. Hyrule Castle, that's as I remember, it was one of my favourite points in the game, specifically because of the music. It sounded like a medley between Ganon's theme and Zelda's Lullaby. And I thought it was a great piece. I really enjoyed going through Hyrule Castle with that. I made sure when I did it that I went through Hyrule Castle properly, right? Like rather than sneaking through anywhere, I got the tunic, got the Master Sword, like fully equipped and everything, and rode in through the front gate because I'm Link. I come to town. I come to save the Princess Zelda. And like the music playing throughout was great, and I feel like it wasn't a medley of Zelda's Lullaby and Ganon's theme. Convergence. Anyway, I think it's time for us to go now. I want to thank everybody who's joined the stream. We had a pretty packed chat today, and it was a lot of fun. We might be back tomorrow. If not, yeah, the one memorable song. We might be back tomorrow. If not, it will be Tuesday. But I think what we're going to do is we're going to run through Arkham Asylum next. Specifically get Ninja in here, because I want to convince him that Arkham is a series that you should go through. Oh no, it's cool, Chanson. I appreciate you being here regardless. I always appreciate the support. Like, thank you so much to everybody who's watching. I always really appreciate the support. Big special thank you to everybody who joined the chat. That's Chanson, Klim, Teak, Star, Bragg popped in. Magic, of course. Can't forget Magic. Cool dude. Is there anybody else? I think that's everybody. Yeah, like thank you all so much for joining the chat. Chat is the best part of the stream. Always is. Uses bits the main theme. Interesting. I might have to like give it a proper listen without the gameplay going over it. Yeah, we're back either tomorrow or Tuesday. We're gonna do Arkham Asylum. We need to get Ninja in here. I want to convince him that he needs to do the Arkham series. And the best way to do that is to show him. But in the meantime, what have we got going on? Nothing really there. That is fine. Yeah, in the meantime, thank you all for watching. Have yourselves a fantastic time of day, and take care. We'll catch you next time, guys. Bye. Bye-bye. Bye. Bye-bye. Bye. Bye-bye. That's an interesting question. Stream-wise, I don't know. If it doesn't suck, I'm gonna want somebody to play it with. Co-op would be the main thing that would set it apart from the Arkham series for me. But, like, based on the trailer we saw that came out yesterday and the gameplay footage they showed, I'm not overly enthusiastic right now. Yeah, online co-op could be a good thing. We'll have to see. It's due out next year. We're probably going to see more of it over the next few months. We'll have to see. I'm not convinced right now that it isn't just going to be DC's version of the kind of thing that Avengers is trying to be. Very unenthusiastic about it. But yeah, in the meantime, catch you next time, guys. Bye. Bye-bye. Bye. Goodbye. Bye-bye. Bye. Bye. Bye.